They slapped her so hard the entire school froze, 200 students watching, phones recording, laughter echoing. But none of them were ready for what she did next. Her response didn't just shut the bullies down, it changed her entire life forever. If you like stories where the weakest becomes unstoppable, make sure to subscribe for more powerful dramas like this one. In the overcrowded courtyard of Ridgeway High, where more than 200 students gathered for the annual cultural show rehearsal, Ava Malik stood alone, clutching her books to her chest the way a child hugs a life jacket in a storm, trying desperately to blend into a sea of people who pretended not to see her, even though they saw her more than anyone else, especially the ones who took joy in seeing her stumble. She was the quiet girl, the girl who wore oversized sweaters, the girl who preferred reading to gossip, the girl who never fought back, which made her the perfect target for Sierra Hale and her gang, the self-appointed queens of the school who believed cruelty was just another extracurricular activity. So when Sierra strutted forward that morning with a smirk sharp enough to slice stone, the crowd sensed something ugly was about to happen, and like vultures drawn to drama, the students formed a ring around Ava before she even realized she had been cornered. But when she lifted her eyes and saw Sierra's hand rise, she didn't expect the sound, the brutal, cracking slap that sent her books scattering and her confidence shattering, a slap so loud it seemed the entire courtyard inhaled at once, the shock so profound that even the teachers supervising froze, unsure whether to intervene or pretend they saw nothing. Sierra's gang erupted into laughter, some students lifted their phones to record, and Ava felt the familiar sting of humiliation creeping up her throat, threatening to swallow her whole, because this wasn't the first time she had been mocked, pushed, tripped, or whispered about, but it was the first time someone struck her in front of hundreds of witnesses, as if she were nothing, as if she didn't matter, and for a moment she truly believed she didn't, until something inside her, something buried, quiet, dormant, snapped, not in rage but in absolute clarity, and in that painful silence after the slap, Ava slowly lifted her head, swept her hair from her face, and smiled a soft, unsettling smile that made even Sierra blink in confusion, because no one had ever seen Ava smile like that, no one had ever seen her stand tall, no one had ever seen her step forward instead of shrinking back, and in the next breath, with the entire courtyard holding its breath, Ava did the unthinkable. She turned to the nearest phone recording her and said, loudly and calmly, "Thank you for catching that on camera. My lawyer will appreciate it," and the crowd gasped, Sierra's mouth dropped open, and someone whispered, "Lawyer." Ava has a lawyer, not knowing the truth, that Ava's father had passed away last year leaving her nothing but debt, not wealth, not protections, not power, but Ava also had a part of her history she never spoke about, her late mother's brother, her uncle, who happened to be one of the most feared human rights attorneys in the region, a man who told Ava every month when he called her, "You never fight alone. You fight with the law," and the memory of that voice filled Ava with a courage she didn't know she had, so she continued, "You'll all be witnesses," making several students quickly lower their phones out of fear, but others kept filming, sensing this moment would explode into something bigger than schoolyard drama. Sierra, recovering from her shock, barked a laugh and leaned forward, saying, "What are you gonna do? Cry to your mommy?" A cruel jab, considering. Everyone knew Ava's mother died when she was 6, yet Ava didn't flinch this time. Instead, she said, "No. But I will let the school board know that you hit a minor on camera," and before Sierra could respond, a voice thundered across the courtyard, Principal Rowan, who had witnessed everything but arrived seconds too late to stop it, his face red with fury, ordering everyone to their classrooms immediately except Ava and Sierra, and the crowd dispersed in whispers, but not before dozens of videos had already been uploaded to social media, and within minutes, yes, minutes, the clip went viral among local teens. Bully slaps girl in front of school. But the story did not end there, because Ava wasn't interested in revenge, she was interested in transformation, in reclaiming her power, so when she was taken to the principal's office and asked whether she wanted Sierra suspended, expelled, or punished, Ava surprised them all by saying, "No. I want something different," and the principal looked confused until Ava elaborated with quiet fire. "I want the school to create an anti-bullying council, run by students who know how damaging this behavior is. I want workshops. I want change, not dismissal, not silence," and the principal, moved by her strength, agreed, but Sierra, who expected Ava to use the opportunity to destroy her, felt something far scarier, guilt, the kind she had never felt because she had never faced consequences that required her to examine herself, and when she was assigned mandatory service on the very anti-bullying council Ava proposed, Sierra protested, screamed, refused, but eventually surrendered, and thus began the strangest partnership Ridgeway High had ever seen: the victim and the bully, forced to work side by side to fix the very environment that broke them. And as weeks passed, something unexpected happened. Sierra, who once weaponized her insecurity to hurt others, found herself listening to Ava's stories, understanding the quiet girl's loneliness, hearing about the nights Ava cried herself to sleep after losing her father, and Sierra, for the first time in years, apologized, not publicly, not dramatically, but privately, tearfully, sincerely, and Ava, instead of holding on to the pain, forgave her, because she realized something profound. Sometimes the strongest thing a person can do is show mercy where the world expects vengeance. Her response, the calm, the clarity, the refusal to be broken, changed not only her life but Sierra's, and word spread throughout the school, transforming the culture entirely: students stepping in instead of standing by, teachers taking action instead of avoiding conflict, and Ava became a symbol of courage, the girl who turned humiliation into empowerment, the girl who taught an entire generation that the most powerful retaliation is to rise higher than the one who tried to push you down. But the biggest twist came months later during the regional youth conference, where Ava was invited to speak about resilience, and among the audience was a renowned journalist live streaming the event. Her speech, authentic, raw, inspiring, went viral nationwide, catching the eye of a global nonprofit dedicated to youth rights, who offered Ava a scholarship, a mentorship, and a platform, transforming her from the quiet girl into a national youth ambassador whose voice carried more strength than any slap ever could, proving that one moment of courage, one moment of clarity, one moment of standing tall in the face of cruelty can write a destiny no bully could ever destroy. And as Ava stepped onto the stage months later, addressing thousands instead of hundreds, she remembered the slap, not with pain, but with gratitude, because it became the spark that ignited her future, the catalyst that forged her confidence, the moment that changed everything.